Happened in the 90's.
Hey, it's a huge Ace Dollar Day sale. There are values everywhere you look.
Brushes and bulbs,
Cords and cocks,
glue and gloves.
and more for just $1 each.
So look into the Ace Dollar Day sale today. You'll see so many ways to save.
It's weird when people like that get like a movie. It's like, yeah, Rob Zombie's making the new Full House. You know, it's like again, Munsters is kind of on brand for him, but it's also not. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's getting like tortured in it or anything, or maybe they are. I don't know.
Maybe he should. Yeah, like that's the thing with some of these reboots. They'll take it a little further, which would be interesting because Herman is like I remember he would kind of like creep me out as a kid watching that show. He's big as fuck. He's got this big like rectangular head. He's Frankenstein, but I can't remember the guy's real name. R.I.P. He was in Car 54, another old show. But
wasn't he the guy in Pet Cemetery that was like, you go down that road?
Yeah, and he was the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
This motherfucker was a living legend, apparently. It's weird he played Herman Munster, though. To me, that show was just too far gone from when I was like into TV. I never liked, you talk about liking a lot of these old shows. And aside from like Golden Girls and shit like that, anything that was black and white, I tended to sort of disregard as a kid, honestly.
Oh, that's olden time shit. Where's the collar?
But I liked, but I did watch like Addams Family. Addams and Family had an old school show too. And it's almost the same vibe. It's almost like somebody like ripped off one or the other, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think Munsters came first, but then Addams Family kind of like had a whole different drip, man, because they were actually more creepy. Munsters, they were like more tame. Whereas
it was like more slapsticky,
slapsticky, yeah. Whereas like Addams Family, like they have this fucking a cousin that is just a ball of hair and sunglasses, and then they had a hand. Their butler is the creepiest shit on the show, and they had a pet lion. Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows, man. Still is. But
you remember when they would show Flipper on Nickelodeon and it was like a black and white show?
Yeah, that was like their afternoon block with Lassie and
Flipper was such a dumb fucking show, dude.
It was, man, and so was Mr. Ed. That shows you how simple the times were. Like I used to watch Mr. Ed with my grandma, and then like now that I'm an adult and I smoke weed, I remember one time watching Mr. Ed because we were high. Me and my friend Mo, shout out to Mo P, GLC. We were high and we were watching Mr. Ed, and he was like, "Dude, this show is stupid." And I was like, "Man, you're right. You're absolutely right." But I don't know how long that show was on. Like considering shit was that simple, it could have been on for like 12 years. I don't know.
How frustrating is that? Like all you can do is rub peanut butter on this thing's mouth and hope that you get enough good footage. Like what a shitty idea. Some guy was just like, honestly, I got a horse. Like, what can we do here? Other than that, I got nothing to add here. And we have no budget. So we got to use the horse.
What kind of coke was in these motherfuckers Pepsis?
They were putting that shit all over the gums of the horse too, Steve. Yeah. That thing was all fucking yacked out.
They're out in Burbank.
I'm yacked out of my brain. See, dude, when you're all coked up, you start jawing like that.
Man. There's some cracked out for writer in Burbank, a group of them in the 1950s. We got it! A fucking talking horse!
Hey, man. Hey, man, stop. Everybody fucking stop. Just quiet down, okay? I know this fucking guy. He's got a horse, okay? What if the fucking horse talks?
He talks? Yeah, but nobody else will know. Just
I'm telling you, I can get the horse to talk. If I can do that. Where's the fucking coke guy at?
So yeah, pen and pad, write that shit down.
Like Boogie Nights, some guy just comes in and fucking, where the fuck were you at, fucking Scotty? Shut the fuck up, Scotty. Scotty from Boogie Nights wrote Mr. Ed, dude. He came up with Mr. Ed in a Coke frenzy.
They should have flipped him. They should have had Mr. Ed as Flipper, a horse that can swim, and Flipper in a stable that can live on the ground and can talk. That would have been like, see, that's some shit.
Help me. Dude, you just thought of the new show though, Steve. We just do we just flip the scripts on these and see what happens. I mean, Peter's gonna be all over us, but I feel like we can pull it off.
A horse is a horse, of course, of course. That was a good time for like people actually put in the effort when it came to like having lyrics to their shit. Every song had lyrics.
I feel like the theme music writer, jingle writer of the bygone era, they don't really do that too much anymore. They still do a little bit, but I feel like that was way bigger of a profession back in the day, and it's something I miss. I miss a good sitcom theme song that's so good you just want to watch the show to watch the fucking intro. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up, man. Like you know what, not all of them had lyrics, because I don't think I Love Lucy had. No, they didn't, and neither did Leave It to Beaver. I think it was just the narrator just telling you who the fuck people were. And Jerry
Andy
Matthews,
Griffith starring fucking this white guy. Dude, you know what else I miss? Remember when they used to make, so like you'd watch a movie, right? I'm just going to use Ninja Turtles as an example. You watch Ninja Turtles. You're thrilled. You're like, man, that movie was so good. You know what I could use? A recap of it. And then there's a song right after the movie that's just a recap of the movie.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, it was a rap. It was just like a guy like, and then the turtles came out of the shells, and then they got in Shredder's grill. It's just some shitty rap song, but I loved it. I had that tape.
A just in case you missed it moment.
I mean, you gotta just know. You gotta get a quick, like, while you're walking out, be like, oh, I forgot about that. That was dope. Also, that guy spit hot fire. That was dope.
Yeah, man.
I miss that shit. See, we just don't get that. Netflix, they don't have enough time. They have like a trillion shows. They don't have enough people to write these hot ass songs. So maybe we need to start doing that, Steve. We can be like the Uncle Jesse and Joey of the 2020s, I guess.
The jingle writers.
We're the jingle writers, dude. We're the new man. We're gonna come up with like a Mentos level jingle someday. We're just gonna be just dripping money after that. I mean, how much Coke can't like all these songs? It's like, how does this happen?
Nothing's better than nothing gets to you. Saying it's
like a guy that gets hit by a car and just gets up like Mentos.
Mentos expression for a life.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, man.
Dude. Now all people do with Mentos is just throw them in Diet Cokes and just that's it. That's like the shitty firework now.
Yeah, find new ways to get high. Man, if I put this Mentos in my ass and eat a piece of toilet paper, bro, it's like you're on LSD. Bro, it's like you're on acid, bro. Like, especially after you swallow the whole toilet paper, not a full toilet paper.
Dude, if you scrape the inner part of a Mentos into a bowl, you dry it for 2 days, and then you smoke that, you're gonna trip balls, dude. I swear to fucking God, dude.
And it's like, dude, why didn't you go to school? You got that much time. And what happened to weed?
Dude, I'm telling you, get an oven preheated to 125 degrees. Scrape all of the stuff that's on the bottom of your foot onto a baking sheet and bake that for 12 to 15 hours. And when that comes out, you can smoke that.
Fucking Mr. Wizard.
What?
Yeah. Jeez. So, hey, boys and girls, this is Happened in the 90s. Steve G and Matt G, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Dan Marino jerseys and your Dexter's Lab kits and take our hands off the 1990s land.
Steve, you just... Oh, Steve, you are genuine. You are a joy, Steve. I just gotta say.
You know, they did a remake of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with James Hetfield as Santa Claus, and he was like, "Here, Donna, here, Prancer, here, Blitzen, here." Yeah. Sayana, Ramayana,
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey-o. Instead of Red Rover, as a kid, James would be like, Red Rover, here. Yeah. Well, yeah, man, we're talking about
we are off the rails, son.
We're talking about things August 12th, man. A whole lot of gang shit happened August 12th. Mud Baths with Billy Joe Armstrong. We're talking about MLB strikes and black albums and yeah, all of that. And Tyrannosaurus Rex bones.
We just being a couple of crazy boys, Steve. Just like our Uncle Pauly, bruh.
Exactamundo.
Chilling with
Staple of the
the
90s.
Weazel.
Like, who came first? That Rob Schneider skit from SNL or Pauly Shore? I don't know. Because it's literally the same thing. Oh my
God, yeah, it really is.
The Tommeister making cafes.
Nick and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
I respected the Rob Schneider back in the day more than the Pauly, but I don't know. Maybe who did come first?
Steve-O-Roni.
Making copies.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. But I mean, shout out to Pauly Shore, though. We talk about 90s legends. There's one.
Mm-hmm.
For good or bad, whether you love him or hate him, he's right there, dude.
He was... Every time he was hired for a movie, he was hired to be him. Like that was his thing.
And it's like wild his story because really he's just the son of a comedy club owner. I guess he was kind of a stand-up comedian, maybe, but he just was sort of like in Hollywood and he just went into the system and that's what came out.
It's about who you know. And if your mom was one of the gatekeepers for Richard Pryor, for Robin Williams, for Tim Allen at some point in their budding careers, if you want to get in the show business, kid, hey, you got a great start.
But I mean, shit, I don't know how they stand up, but I watched Encino Man, I watched Biodome, I watched a movie that we're about to talk about today, In the Army Now. And I don't remember what this movie was called, Steve, but you and I watched a movie in college that was a Blair Witch Project spoof movie that I think Pauly Shore produced, but he's definitely one part of it. But
I forgot he was in that.
That movie gave us one of the greatest skits of all time about the Willy Witch projects. Steve, I know you remember this.
The Willy Bitch Project.
The Willy Witch. Willy Witch. Damn.
Keep fucking with me and I'm going to burn your ass here.
The Willy Bitch Project.
Fuck you, Double D.
Yeah, fuck you. That was the guy that was in, that's Cousin Tommy. He is a part of Steve Harvey's radio show.
Dick so like small, peeing on your nuts.
Yeah.
The Willy Bitch Project.
Fuck you, Double D.
$1 million.
In 1990, Sue, the largest and most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton is found to date, is discovered by Sue Hendrickson in South Dakota. It was a big deal at the time. It totally went over my head, no pun intended. But it's funny that the dinosaur is named Sue because that's exactly what would happen afterwards when this thing was discovered, legal action wise.
Why?
So
Did Sue like say she wasn't gonna give it up, or like what happened here?
With Sue,
You said there was some legal action. I'm just wondering how a lawsuit got into a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton.
yeah, I got fucking 17 pages up. Well, so okay, during the summer of 1990, a group of workers from the Black Hills Institute located in Hill City searched for fossils at the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation in western South Dakota near the City of Faith. And by the end of the summer, the group had only discovered Edmontosaurus bones and was ready to leave. And then a flat tire was discovered on the truck before the group could depart on August 12th. While the rest of the group went into town to repair the truck, Sue Hendrickson decided to explore the nearby cliffs that the group had not checked. As she was walking along the base of a cliff, she discovered some small pieces of bone. She looked above her to see where the bones had originated and observed larger bones protruding from the wall of the cliff. She returned to camp with 2 small pieces of bones and reported the discovery to the president of the Black Hills Institute, Peter Larson. He determined that the bones were from a T.rex by their distinctive contour and texture. Later, closer examination of the site showed many visible bones above the ground and some articulated vertebrae. So afterwards, like once they discovered this is a huge fucking T-Rex, there was a dispute. Maurice Williams, he was the owner of the land, and he was paid $5,000 to excavate the remains. He later claimed that the money had not been for the sale of the fossil and that he had only allowed Larson to remove and clean the fossil for a later sale. Williams was a member of the Sioux tribe, and the tribe claimed the bones belonged to them. However, the property where the fossil had been found was held in trust by the United States Department of the Interior. Ultimately, it went the California State University System, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, McDonald's, Ronald McDonald House Charities, and individual donors agreed to assist in purchasing Sue for the Field Museum. And on October 4th, 97, the auction began at $500,000, less than 10 minutes later. And the Field Museum had purchased the remains, with the highest bid being $7.6 million. The final cost was $8.3 million. As of 2020, it was auctioned for $31.8 million.
So wait, so the Native American people you were saying, right? There was like that they thought was on that land. They didn't get that money.
No, it belonged to the United States Department of Interior.
That's crazy. But damn, can you imagine being, just even somebody who's looking for a fossil? That's like taking a fucking metal detector to a beach and finding a pirate's booty, like fucking chest.
Yeah,
it's crazy. A whole fucking skeleton. That's great, but
and of all
that happens, I never really thought of that. If they find something like that, if it's on your land, you do get paid. I guess that's crazy. I never thought of that.
Oh yeah, it's like the Clampetts on Beverly Hills, but like shit, he found an oil drill.
I mean, shit, oil. I
get
it. I'm just saying, like, you feel like fossils, like. That's almost like you feel like you got to give that to a museum, but I guess in that when you're doing that, you're going to get money for that too. So, I mean, I never thought
smart.
of that,
Oh yeah. I mean, I know what you mean, because it's looked at as something as non-profit-ish, because you're giving it to something that is non-profit,
Well, it's like if you found like, I don't know, like the original copy of the Constitution someplace, you have it, but it's like, is there a financial transaction for the person who finds that to, I guess you're right. You just got to play your cards right. I guess you could just be like, hey guys, this is on the arm. Here you go. Here's this skeleton. Enjoy. Or you could be like, I'm going to need a couple mil.
Straight up, man. Like of all dinosaurs too, the T-Rex is like the Michael Jordan of dinosaurs.
I was about to say, this is it. This is the fucking number one pick right here. If you're gonna want to buy some dinosaur bones, this is it. It's this, or maybe like a Brontosaurus or Triceratops. You know what I'm saying? Because they got some crazy shit going on. But
Brontosaurus has always bored me. They're like the Hugh Grant of dinosaurs. I never would y'all just eat plants? Y'all don't even eat people.
But if you think like the bones visually, though, if you're just looking at some bones like this, it's all there. But like bones, you get to see that big ass neck and shit. Be like, God damn, that's crazy.
I get what you're saying.
Wow. Well, Steve, we need to start digging. Okay.
Straight
Go
up,
outside right now and just start digging. Okay.
I can't believe it. Like that shit happened in 1990, man. In 1991, Metallica, released one of the greatest albums. It is arguable that it is their greatest album. They released the most successful album, Metallica, also called the Black Album, something of a departure from the thrash metal sound they helped pioneer, and it becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time, not in just heavy metal, not just in the 90s, but of all time.
I used to know some heavy Metallica fans. I love Metallica. I was not like diehard Metallica. Is this the one with Unforgiven on it and shit like that?
Yes, sir.
Never free, never mere. Dude, this is a dope album though. I mean, people have sort of gotten a distaste for Metallica the older they get, especially because of the antics of Lars and Napster and shit like that. But they're fucking. What are you gonna do, man? These motherfuckers were killing it for a long ass. Are they still making music?
They are. I believe they put out one last year, if I'm not mistaken. Like the later works that they put out, they're hit or miss, but there was one that stood out. I don't think it was the one after Saint Anger. But I've talked about this before on the show, man. The metal purists who say, oh, they sold out. They after this one they suck. Like, dude, so the one with all the fucking hits and smashes on it, that's when they started sucking. Man, I liked it better when they were blah, 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 blah. Okay, Mr. Ride the Lightning, I'm sorry, but all of these gentlemen have families and they would like to get the most out of their talent, and I really can't blame them. So if they have the know-how to sell 16 million, they say, for this fucking album, then so be it. Because if they were just struggling artists and James Hetfield had to break into a bank to fucking make ends meet, would you make money on his books? Would you put money on his JPay, Dre Day, anything? No, you would just be like, well, shit, man, it sucks that he's in jail. Nah, motherfucker. So shout out to Metallica, man.
Yeah. Jim Brewer does the best James Hetfield impression, by the way. That motherfucker can basically sing a Metallica song and you think you're listening to James Hetfield.
Hasn't South Park parodied him? I feel like he is like perfect for somebody to parody on that show. And I could see them doing that with the character.
I don't know if it was in the 90s, but can I shout out to the Metallica Mission Impossible song that they did also for Mission Impossible 2?
I love that one. Yeah.
I think Limp Bizkit had a song, like a Mission Impossible song too, on that album. That was like a
My Way or the Highway.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe I like that song, dude. I like that song.
It was decent. I like the Metallica song better. But yeah, man, this album, 62 minutes, 31 seconds, Enter the Sandman, Sad But True, Holier Than Thou, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam.
True, dude. This may be one of the best rock albums of all time.
Yeah, that opening riff. Ding, 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 ding. Down, 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 down. Boom, 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 boom.
Dude, that's like some walkout music, dude. You know,
hell yeah.
If some fucking UFC fighter or something came out to that, I would be so pumped if I was listening to that.
I'm Dream. I'm you. It's just like, that's just fucking, I'm pulling my dick out and waving it whenever he does that. Yeah, that's bitch.
They had some fucking, I forget what album it was on. It was like a later album, but it was like this song. It was like kind of a goofy song where the hook was like, who cares? Who cares about you? Some shit like that. My friend used to listen to that shit all the time, but like at one point, James Hetfield just like, you boring little cunt. And I was like, God damn, this shit is fucking wild, dude. Man. It's like when you listen to that Snoop album that has that one, it's like a bunch of bangers, but then there's just one that's just like, bitches ain't shit but hoes, and just like with a chick or something. You're like, oh, okay, let me go to the next one. Sorry about that. It's a little intense.
Yeah. Slap all these nuts and suck my dick.
Wow, man, dude, that's another product of the 90s right there, dude. That's just a straight up one of the most craziest songs of all time, dude. It ain't a comedy song either. It's just a song that came out, and it's good.
And then I run, then I make a great script, then make a great grind, or something.
Sunday, cash in your chips for America's Funniest Home Videos grand prize $100,000 show.
That would mean someone's gonna win $100,000.
Then, it's the new America's Funniest People with kid host Candace Cameron of Full House on America's Funniest Hours Sunday.
In 1994, In the Army Now premieres, starring Pauly Shore, Andy Dick, David Allen Grier, Lori Petty, Lynn Whitfield, and S.A. Morales. Richie!
We're just a couple of crazy boys. Dude, Andy Dick in this, it's almost, I know you're going to have a lot to talk about with Andy Dick because you have some experiences, but this is when Andy Dick had it dialed in, dude. He was on the come up, and he's good in this. Dag, hilarious as always in this. This might be one of his best performances in a movie, dude. It's not, but that's an over.
That's a bit of a reach.
But I'm just saying, like, he basically made this movie as a side character. Yeah, that was a huge reach. But he's funny as fuck when he's in this movie. So
he has his moments.
It's just full of like a lot of 90s, just like I wouldn't call them legends, but it's like people that were in a lot of movies in the 90s are all in this one movie, you know?
Lori, another movie we talked about, A League of Their Own. Lori Petty was in that, and she was Tank Girl, which tanked, and you know, a lot of people shit on it, but maybe that'll get a reboot because that was a comic book movie, wasn't it?
Oh man, that's rife for a reboot. They would love to remake that. I don't really remember a lot from that movie. It came out like at the same time Barbed Wire came out with Pamela Anderson, and
really,
I think it did, or I just was like watching those movies around the same time. But obviously, I prefer Barbed Wire for obvious reasons. But Tank Girl it had a cool fucking style, you know.
I'd never seen it, man. I just remember it getting like a lot of people would just rank it down all the time.
Just had a weird feel. I remember being like very music video style. It was like it was very like high stylized. It just had no story. You know, I don't know what the comic book is, but she just played like it's like a badass chick basically. So
too misguided. Lori Petty, and she resurfaced on The Orange is the New Black, man. Two misguided youths join the reserves to make some money for their entrepreneurial dreams. No sooner than they finish basic training are they called up to do their part to save the free world. I gotta say, Andy Dick looks like the guitarist for Fish, and Pauly Shore looks like Pauly Shore.
It's weird to see him with like that 90s hair because he has like kind of like a whatever you want to call it. He just looks like insane at the beginning of this. And they work at like an electronics store because in the 90s, everybody just worked at an electronics store. You know what I'm saying?
Radio Shack.
Just fucking chilling, selling TVs. Bones, Pauly Shore, is one of the crazy boys at this place. I guess that's the name of the place, if I'm not mistaken. And he's in some hot water with the boss. And his
doesn't like him
sniffing like second in command. That's like, hey, Bones, told the boss you took a 20-minute break instead of a 10. Fuck you.
Man, Andy Dick was a part of that Ben Stiller tribe too, man. Wasn't he on that show?
He was. I mean, he was on News Radio.
Yeah.
And he was fucking funny, man. Like, he was a funny guy. And anybody that's worked with him will tell you he's funny, but I guess he just can't he can't quell the demons, you know?
I mean, he is a bag of, you don't know what the fuck you're getting. So I've visited you guys over the years in Los Angeles, and one of the years I went for my birthday. Actually, I think it was the night of my birthday. Me and Jordan went out to the overpass after hours. That was, known in the underground club scene in Los Angeles. And Andy Dick was a regular there. And Jordan told me about it, like, yeah, every Andy Dick, he's starting to show up at Overpass lately. So we go there that night, and after being there for about an hour, Jordan tells me at the bar, like, oh man, there's your boy Andy Dick. And because I had already told him, like, dude, I never really cared for him. I never really thought Andy Dick was that funny. Like, not like to where I'm searching his movies, like, oh, he's in that, I gotta go see it. And so when he told me, I was like, oh, okay, that is Andy Dick. All right, whatever. So I end up going outside, smoking a cigarette, and Andy Dick is out there. We strike up a conversation. I asked him about, like, dude, the whole time you were on news radio, man, were you ever have an opportunity to host SNL? And we started talking about that. And he gave me the answer that I kind of expected, but he didn't fully answer it, because I knew that he was blamed for Phil Hartman's death, because he was the guy that was friends with Phil Hartman's wife. And he basically like got her strung out again. Like she was on like a program or in rehab or whatever. And he was like the party guy kicking it with her. He's like, hey, I got this shit. And she fucking fell off the wagon. And that's what drove her to be a Looney Tune. And so like John Lovitz has always had like this riff with Andy Dick. So I kind of got a feeling like the SNL people, that's a whole different camp. And they're like, no, we're not fucking with Andy Dick. So
I never knew that. That's crazy. I knew he had a bad reputation, but I just assumed it was because of like the habitual drug use and, public shit, that he's just always getting arrested or being accused of going into a bathroom and trying to like tug on some dude's dick or some shit like that. So I just assumed it was that. He did have a show on MTV. I think it was MTV, and it was the Andy Dick Show. I think it was his sketch comedy show. And he's a funny like performer. I always thought that, but in terms of like the fact you even wanted to even talk to him at all is weird to me, but that's cool. I mean, take the opportunity, I guess. He was right there.
He was right there. It was like, let's strike up a conversation. I never talked to anybody that was on an NBC show. Why not? And so like he asked me why I was there, where I'm from, and I was like, yeah, I'm out here kicking it with my buddies here. I live in Texas. It's my birthday. So he sings a happy birthday to me. And it was like, okay, he had some of his friends, some of his like partying crew with him, and they all sang me happy birthday. I was like, oh, dude, I appreciate that, man. And after that, he was like, do you know how many black men woke up in my bed this week?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
5. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, bro. It's cool to meet you, Andy. So I go back inside and I said, Jordan, yeah, man, I talked to Andy Dick for a minute, smoking a cigarette, chopped it up. And I think he's trying to fuck. And what was more shocking
dude?
Yeah, what was more shocking was Jordan's response, because it was kind of like he didn't bat an eye. It was kind of like, oh yeah, that's Hollywood for you. It wasn't like, oh my God, he was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's Andy Dick.
I think there was an incident when I lived with him, with Jordan. There was some like sports bar that he would go watch Browns games at on, I think it was Sunset or La Brea, one of the two. And we would go there a lot. But I think at one point, Andy Dick, it was like a party spot. Like people go and just like booze it up, or people would go watch like, football and shit. But at one point, I think Andy Dick got kicked out of that place when we were there because he tried to like touch a guy's dick in the bathroom or some shit like that. I remember that specifically, where it was just like, I didn't even see him, but somebody's like, dude, the craziest thing just happened. Andy Dick just got kicked out. He tried to touch some dude's dick in there. It's just like, okay. I didn't bat an eye.
I
was like, okay, it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds about the norm. Per usual.
And so, but I mean, I call him a wasted talent, call him whatever you want. He's funny. He's funny in this. He's kind of like the bumbling sidekick, like the guy, like the second banana. He's always in Bones's shadow. And in the beginning of this movie, Bones has a hot girlfriend. He's about to get fired. He uses his girlfriend to pull like this weird smooth move where he like makes it look like he's a superstar salesman and gets his job back. But then there's this weird scene at the end. Pauly Shore's got his job. His girlfriend's like, yo, like, I gotta go. And he tries to like fuck on the job, like in the back. And then Andy Dick takes a camera from the store's like display and starts taping it, which now that we've talked, that seems like something that's par for the course for Andy Dick. Maybe this was just something he did naturally and they filmed it.
Yeah.
But there's like a petty guy who doesn't like Pauly Shore. He turns like some switch. Pauly Shore is shown to the store of trying to fuck, and then he's summarily fired from Crazy Boys. And he's not really he's not too upset, Steve. It's Pauly,
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
No problemo. Yeah. What's the worry? And Lynn Whitfield, she's another 90s hottie. A low down dirty shame. Was it Mississippi? No, she was Josephine Baker. That's what she was in the movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Young Journey Smollett. I can't call it, but yeah, she could be my drill sergeant.
Oh my God. Yeah. So cue the obligatory 90s montage as Pauly Shore decides that the best option to get a bunch of money after losing his job is to join the Army Reserves. Andy Dick just goes because he has no spine at all. He just says, okay, if you're going, I'm going. And again, these guys just got fired from an electronics store. Cool. We all have shitty jobs. I worked at a gas station. But then they're like, you know what I want to do with my life? Open my own electronics store, bruh. So like they go in the Army to be able to get money to buy their own like electronics store, basically. And not a great plan, other than like you said, this hottie drill sergeant shows up and Pauly Shore is playing. I mean, he would have been kicked out.
Grunt.
These antics, Steve.
The sass, the back talk. And she's
the
your
sexual harassment.
We's a little juice.
Like the straight up verbal sexual harassment that he's doing. At one point, they have to have a straight ghillie line, Steve, which is in a military uniform. From all the buttons are straight. It goes down to your, crotch. It's all straight. He fucking messes it up to like a crazy extent so that this woman will grab and touch his crotch. And he's like, to the drill sergeant. Like he would have been fucking killed, Steve.
Yeah.
But
is that even allowed? Are you allowed to have like female drill sergeants as a guy? Can that work?
I mean, there has to be, but I don't know, man. Like this chick is very hot. Like, I guess that's one way to like tame a bunch of fucking dudes though. Cause they're not going to like try to beat her up or anything like that. Where it's like, if a male drill sergeant pops off to the wrong guy, I feel like it has to happen where somebody tries to throw hands on those people. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Sergeant Pyle fucking shot his.
I mean, fuck, dude. That's what that's basically this movie is a comedic version of Full Metal Jacket at this point. They're going through boot camp. The only person being punished is Pauly Shore, and he's just having to do push-ups constantly. He's peeling potatoes. Very like Gomer Pyle type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I said Sergeant Pyle. Like I think Sergeant was the guy that got shot. Or Arlie Ramey, R.I.P.
Oh, he got shot, but the motherfucker blew his own brains out. Pyle blew his own brains out too. So,
like Beaumont.
Well, yeah. I don't remember what that guy's name, like his real name was, but the drill sergeant Arlie Ermy just called him Gomer Pyle because he was a dumbass. So.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. That's my favorite part of the movie. I know there's like 5 hours more of the movie, but like to me, that's the climax.
That's the movie, dude. When you mentioned Full Metal Jacket, nobody's like, "Oh yeah, remember when they're fighting the battle at the end for an hour and a half, just trying to get at that like female sniper?" Yeah. Nobody says that. It's all the beginning shit.
Yeah. The only thing that stands out towards the end is the "Me So Horny," and that's because it was a 2 Live Crew sample.
Yeah. Do you suck dicks, Private?
Yeah.
I just couldn't like. I would not be like Pauly Shore, but maybe I'm wrong. But I just feel like I'd be laughing. I couldn't help but laugh if somebody said all this crazy shit to me. I guess eventually you just get worn down and you you're dead inside. But that shit's hilarious, man. If the shit Arlie Ermy saying in Full Metal Jacket is some of the funniest shit.
Bullshit.
bullshit. It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress.
I swear it's comedic gold, bro. But hey, man, he's got David Allen Grier and Paul Mooney on his base. So, like, yeah, man, of course, I would be laughing. Yeah, they're keeping me sane. Look at these comedic geniuses. You guys are going to war with me? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, Steve. You join the Army Reserves and you're saying to yourself, well, what if there's a war that pops off? What if I'm not a soldier. I don't want to fight in a war. Pauly Shore's thought one step ahead, and he said to himself, who's not going to fight? Let me look through this brochure real quick. Oh, water purification. There's no way I'm shooting a gun if I'm purifying all that water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's got to be cakewalk. So that's what he does. And he goes in, he goes through boot camp, and then he goes into his class for water purification. And Tank Girl's there. She's kind of the butch, I want to fight. I'm not, but they won't let me because I'm not a man at this stage in the world. So she's just in the Army, but this is all she could get. Andy Dick's still just tagging along. He's just there. And then David Allen Grier is going into graduate school for being a dentist, and he's scared of everything.
You okay, Fred?
Oh, man, I'm fine. Yeah.
Thanks.
Basically. And he's also pissed that people are scared of dentists, and because he's about to be one.
But in all actuality, the water purification unit in the Gulf War was struck by a Scud missile in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's crazy.
Though. You need the water. And that's the other thing, Steve. Pauly didn't think this through. What are you going to need in any sort of desert warfare? Water. So you're going to be the first people to go. And they get out. They graduate, Steve, and you're supposed to only do, what is it, 2 days a week? And it's like 2 weeks a year, and that's what you're supposed to do. They go home to party for like a day, and then they get called to war. So this whole fucking plan just backfired.
Yeah.
So now it's off to Iraq. No, it's not Iraq. They go to Chad. And there's something going on in Chad. Syria or like, where are they? I forget who the fuck they're fighting. I'll remember here in a second.
Marijuana affects the memory.
But they got to go. They get to the desert. It's a shit show. And now Pauly has to like be Pauly to a new set of superior officers. And it's not working out great.
Because his new superior officer is the guy who played Babe Ruth in Sandlot.
Legends never die, kid. This motherfucker he speaks the same in anything. He speaks the same in this.
Dude, you know he used to come to Bowling Green?
Really?
Yeah, man. He gave a speech. Like, I don't know if it was a recurring thing, but I remember seeing his picture on the flyers, and that's how they credited him. Yeah, the guy who played Babe Ruth in Sandlot. And he came to speak to like the film students, but it was like open. I think it was like open forum, but it was being held in Bowling Green.
I mean, shout out to this guy, because I mean, if he's willing to come to Bowling Green and share his insights into acting one way in every part, I mean, shout out. Did you go?
I didn't.
I did.
Yeah, man. There was a lot that I probably should have went to. But honestly, I don't know,
shit like that though, you ain't gonna be an actor. What's this guy gonna tell you other than how to act?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He don't know how to make a movie other than to get hired to be in it.
Pretty much.
I'm getting surly, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm going like I've had a bad week. So if I'm going hard on some of these topics or saying some out of pocket shit, just tell me. I'm sorry. I'll lighten up.
I love it. Yeah, I like it. I'm right there with you.
Okay, good. Fuck this guy.
I'm pissed now.
No.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck Babe Ruth.
Probably a piece of shit like Ty Cobb anyway, dude. He's probably doing
Straight
some
up.
fuck shit.
For real.
He ain't got any records anyway. Fuck Babe. Although this guy was always like, I feel like Babe Ruth was the only time he played a non-military guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or cop, maybe.
he still played a chud because fucking Babe Ruth. Like, dude, like, how far do you think Babe Ruth would make it in the 90s, man? You're going up against Barry Larkin, fucking Randy Johnson, and Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas. Like, these motherfuckers were like brick house, like ripped. You know what I'm saying? And you got this motherfucker smoking stogies and eating birthday cakes and shit before.
You know what I like is a good steak and a beer before the game. You know what I'm saying?
He's fucking whores and eating T-bones, and he's stepping up the plate half nutted and fucking got the itis. Like, how the fuck you know?
I didn't think we were gonna shit talk Babe Ruth on this episode, Steve.
Give me a hell yeah!
I'm caught off guard, but I support this.
I found my slither and I'm in. Fucking yeah, dude. Fuck Babe Ruth, man. He's the greatest baseball player ever. Yeah, dude. I bet he couldn't hit off of Roger Clemens, especially yoked up muscles coming out of his fucking neck.
Roger Clemens. Dude. If he saw Bo Jackson walk by him, he'd be like, "What is that?"
He'd think Bo Jackson was one of his horses for his fucking carriage. Fucking fat clown.
Jesus. Well. I mean, so you know what? To any Babe Ruth fans, sorry guys, we're not one of them. So, but legends don't die, Steve, and neither does Pauly Shore because he's still out there and he's sidetracking Sally back into this movie. Pauly's in the desert, so they're there now. Tank Girl's all amped up because they might fight some Libyans. That's who they're fighting, Libyans. There's some Libyans out there in Chad fucking around, and they got to do something. So,
what are they there for?
The chicken was in the pot. Like, that was the other thing. I didn't even mention this. Let's go back a little bit when they get the call to go to war. When you're in the Army Reserves, is there a need to get some secret code message to go to war? Don't you just get a call like, hey, come to the barracks now? You don't go, the hen is in the house and the moon is like full. It's like, that's a shitty code anyway. And I don't think that's how it works. I hope it's not how it works. Maybe it is.
They went total Don Adams with it, man. Fucking agent, fucking like, you don't have to like answer the phone out of your shoe, motherfucker.
Like, would you believe we're going to war?
Did you know you had that?
I just pulled that out, Steve. I think I'm just like the right amount of high that I just pulled a Maxwell Smart out of my ass like that. So you're welcome.
Yes.
Now that's a black and it wasn't even black and white, but that's an old school show. I used to watch that with my grandma all the time. The motherfucker had a shoe phone. I mean, this motherfucker had a cell phone before we all even knew about that.
Bro, just like Pauly Shore in the 90s, put Don Adams into anything in the 70s, 60s, that shit was gonna pop, son.
Dude, he was a
even in the 80s. Go Gadget.
Oh, fuck, Don Adams. The hell was that him?
Oh, yes.
Of course it was, Penny. Of course, dude. Of course that was. Jesus Christ. How did I never put those two together? That's wild. Dude. Okay, thanks for the education, Steve. But again, back to Pauly here. Sidetracking Sally the fuck back.
Went around the block just to go next door.
We're in Chad. The Libyans are just chilling and they're trying, we're doing stuff. So Pauly's here and he's actually a pretty proficient water boy or whatever you want to call these people, water purification expert. Him and the team even get kudos from one of these guys who says that the water they made is some of the best water they've ever tasted. The water, Adam Sandler himself would blush.
His first sergeant, yeah.
So they're killing it, but they're out in Chad, and he's getting a foul of this. There's like special forces guys, and these guys are kind of like the bullies of the military. They just show up, they start taking apart their guns. They start, intimidating the other military people, which I didn't know this happened, but of course it does, because it's just like high school, I guess.
Yeah, like we're varsity fucking
yeah, exactly.
Freshmen.
And Paulie's got like that swag where he gets picked on, but then he gets right in the guy's face and he's like, drill sergeant, and he's like getting in the dude's face, acting all wild. Andy Dick's pissing in his panties. Tank Girl's ready to throw down, and David Allen Greer is just shitting himself. So,
man, but they killed S.A. Morales' brother in the fucking plane. In the plane. So he's taking his anger out on Pauly.
He is, dude. He's taking it out, and he's a dangerous guy. He's special forces, Steve. So of course he knows how to handle himself. And everything's going pretty good in Chad. They're having fun little camp outs in the barracks. They're singing songs. It's like camp. S'mores. This is basically camp. At one point, David Allen Greer keeps thinking he's about to get stung by scorpions in his blankets, and that's hilarious. I almost shit myself watching that. And I forget what happens, but like shit starts popping where they actually have to start fighting in a war, basically.
Yeah, the shit's about to hit the fan. I remember a snake being involved before it got to that point. And did they shoot
no, that's what it is. So they're out there. They got the water truck. And what they have to do then is there's like a convoy that's going to go to some forward operating base that's in like the shit. And they're going to restock them. They're going to bring them water. They're going to bring them supplies. But they got to take a convoy through enemy territory. And they get ambushed. There a bunch of people get like those. They get like separated. Their truck gets just sort of shot up, but somehow they avoid death. And Pauly Shore saves like the water truck for a little bit, or a truck, so that they can sort of get away and get back to base. So
satiate.
Yeah, and they do that, and then that truck breaks down, and then they are forced to walk in the desert. Because Pauly Shore is the one leading this. That's the guy reading the map, guys. Pauly Shore is reading the map.
The world is in his hands.
Not the guy who's about to be a dentist. That's at least somebody medically trained. Even Tank Girl, give her the fucking map. But Pauly Shore, I don't want him fucking telling me where to go. You know what I'm saying?
Matt, who would you rather have the safety of our country in than the hands of Pauly Shore or Dennis Rodman?
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm saying Dennis Rodman just because he could actually fuck somebody up. I feel like Pauly Shore, he's just like going to get fucked up no matter what. Dennis Rodman might be crazy and he might not achieve what you want, but he's going to kill somebody before he goes down. You know what I'm saying? So D-Rod, Rodzilla, as it were. I'm going with Rodzilla, dude.
I think we wouldn't even have to get to that point if it was in the Rodzilla's hands, man, in the worms, because he's a charismatic guy. He's a train wreck of a person, but there's some affability to him, to his personality. It's like once you hear him talking, you get it. It's like, damn, dude, you've had a rough life. And so, like, I get it. Like, if you do this outlandish shit, and I'm sure Kim Jong-un, he noticed that. He was an NBA fan. He's like, I know your story. I don't.
I know this is sidetracking Sally again, but like, what did they do when he went to visit North Korea, dude? Like, what the fuck? What was happening?
It was an exhibition game, and then afterwards, Rodman and Kim Jong played cards. I don't know.
Were they just getting their dick sucked by strippers together? Were they having conversations? Was he just like, tell me about when you fuck Madonna? Was it like that? Or I don't even know what I would talk to Rodman about. I'd be afraid to talk to him.
I wouldn't, bro. I feel like he would be a humble dude considering his persona. I think he would be like, if you had time.
You think he wouldn't be like a dick prima donna? Like, no, I ain't talking to you. Fuck you. You don't think he would come off like that because it's Rodzilla?
I don't think so, man. He's had a lot of bad shit happen. He had some great shit happen, but I think that it's kind of like Mike Tyson. Maybe if you caught him during his heyday and when he was like popping, yeah, he's too hot. He's too hot shit for you. I ain't got time. But like, because of the shit that's happened over time, like it's mellowed you out. maybe
you're right. Maybe you are right. I don't know. I would like to believe you're right. How about that? Because that would be cool to sit down and talk to fucking Rodman. You know what I mean? How crazy, especially if it was just like a real, like him just like telling you crazy. He's like, and then I did this one thing, man. That shit was, I was just doing that to fuck with the guy, but it was funny as fuck. You know, shit like that where he's like letting you in a little bit. That would be so fucking cool.
Carmen Electra did a line off my thing.
Yeah. Carmen Electra is doing a line off my dick. I wake up out of a blackout.
But dude, check this out. Like Pauly Shore says that this was the bane of his career. Like this was like he said this in an interview where like after this movie, he noticed that the quality of the films that were presented to him were declining. And this is even for his standards, because Son-in-Law, that got moderate success. And then Encino Man had moderate success. But this one, it didn't even see anything close to that, man. And then he did the Jury movie.
That movie was some shit, dude. I remember getting that from Video Connection in Perrysburg and just being like, that's $4 I'm never getting back.
And then Biodome was only popular after the fact. When it was initially released, it didn't even, it saw these kind of numbers from in the Army. But when it was released for home video and all of that, then it started growing its cult following, you know.
What did you think about that movie?
I've never seen Biodome.
It's not a great movie. It's like it's a wacky Pauly Shore movie, but like that's when Stephen Baldwin was kind of playing that role that he played for a while before he went. I don't even know what his vibe is now. I think he went Jesus freak for a while, and then I think he went crazy again. I don't know, but it was not good. But I think it became like a pot movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never watched it high. I don't think.
I need to watch it. I wonder if it's available on HBO Max, man. But he should have stayed in that vein. If you're going to be an actor, Stephen Baldwin, look, your brother is Alec. That's your big bro, and you're not going to top that. If you're trying to do that same exact lane, bro, do some complete. Be the cult following guy. Be the stoner actor. Be Ashton.
He kind of was the action movie guy though for a while because he was in this movie with Lawrence Fishburne called Fled.
I remember that. I never seen it.
It's good. Well, again, this is my childhood, me saying it's good, but it's like it's one of those like buddy comedy type movies where it's an action movie. You know, him and Lawrence Fishburne are trying to get away from the cops. Like they escape prison or something. They're handcuffed to each other. And then it's a whole thing. But I remember that being kind of like one of those fun 90s action movies, you know? One of those Cuba Gooding Jr. action movies that came out for a while.
Cuba Gooding Jr. action movie.
Dude, he had one. I don't know what it's called, but it was him and Skeet Ulrich. And it was like this thing where there was like some kind of a chemical weapon and there was a chemical weapon involved. And they were just like everyday guys, I think, that sort of stumbled onto this plot and they try to foil it. It's wild.
Just some American.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look the title of the movie up, Steve. But then where are we at in the Army now? Because shit keeps getting worse and worse for these guys.
I mean, the shit's popped off, man. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. Watching this movie, I like probably halfway through, I was just kind of not actively watching it. It's, for one thing, even as a kid, when I saw Pauly Shore's name in the credits, I'm like, hard pass.
Can I please throw up now?
If he just happens to be a character not mentioned in the trailer, okay, like Class Act. I like Class Act because it was a kid and play focused movie, and Pauly Shore just happened to be in it. But when if he's the starring role, and then Andy Dick, it'd be like, even with David Allen Grier, the Dag himself, it still couldn't. Even with Paul Mooney for the cameo, I just couldn't.
I mean, that's the review right there. It's just. I agree, Steve, but I said it before. One, the only reason I rewatched this movie, because I watched this quite a few times, because it was just a library rental. It was a free movie. It was on TV quite a bit. And,
Any library.
I'm not gonna say I like, but it's better than Twister, and I'll stick by that, and I stand by that statement. And I would like you to go watch Twister and tell me if it's worse, because I think it is.
Kind of scared to now.
But I only watched it to see the one vintage line from this movie, and it's when Pauly Shore shoots a bazooka at a missile at the end, and he goes, "Suck on missile one time." That's it. That's the only reason I watched it. But this movie, it's one of those 90s movies, man. They just got like the hot ticket guy as like the main dude. They put a bunch of comedians around him. I mean, like you said, Paul Mooney's in this fucking movie, Dag's in this movie, Andy Dick's in this movie, and it is what it is. It's like one of those generic action movies, but I didn't hate it.
It's watchable, but you know who wasn't in the movie? Craig T. Nelson was offered the role of First Sergeant Williams, and he turned it down because he was busy filming Coach, and because he's Craig T. fucking Nelson. And the same thing with Adam Sandler. He was actually offered the role of Jack, but he was busy with Saturday Night Live and Airheads, and he's Adam fucking Sandler. Damon Wayans was considered for the role of Fred. He turned it down to work on Blank Man, but the funny thing about that, David Allen Grier was in Blank Man. You're just a smart man, Damon Wayans, or your agent, or both. Whoopi Goldberg was considered for the role of Drill Sergeant Ladd, and she turned it down because she was filming Karina, which aired on the same day as In the Army Now, on August 12th, 1994.
And isn't Liotta in this? Isn't Chantix? Isn't he in this?
Ray Liotta?
Isn't Ray Liotta?
Oh, Karina. Yeah, he is. He is, yeah.
I was like, no, he ain't in the Army Now. If he showed up hey, Pauly, he's a Chantix. But I don't remember Karina. I watched this movie with my parents. I don't remember. This is one of those period. It's like in the 60s or 50s or some shit, isn't it?
Yeah, and I never seen it. I love Whoopi Goldberg. She's one of the greatest actors, one of my favorite actresses. But Ray Liotta, that's my dude too. But yeah, man, I think the story and me being a kid, it was like, this is too serious for me to watch at this time. Where's the Jim Carrey fucking slapstick shit? Where's Chris Farley? Like,
what was that movie that came out that won all the awards? That
Ghost.
Green Book. Remember that movie Green Book that came out recently? That was just sort of like a white person friendly movie. It was just like a race movie, but for white people.
I don't.
You don't remember Green Book? Fucking Viggo, what his name? Like Aragorn was in it. It was about like a black dude and this white like Italian dude that drove him around. It was like a true story. It was regardless. This Karina movie is like a movie my parents watched, and it was very much about like race relations and just like interracial relationships in whatever fucking decade this is in. I think it's the 50s.
50s, okay.
But I just remember watching it, and it was just like sometimes my mom and dad would watch like these, what I just call generically Lifetime type movies, like those like Christmas movie. It's like Christmas in July with, fucking whoever like Esther Jacobson and My Grandma's First Christmas Alone. There's, one of those where it's just like, why are we watching this sad Jessica Tandy movie about somebody dying, And that's kind of what this movie, it's not sad, but I just don't remember anything about it. I just remember it being too serious to pay attention to, really.
On that same day, when In the Army was released, Woodstock 94 is being held in Saugerties, New York. As with the original 69 festival, attendance is swelled by a high number of gate crashers, while heavy rains turn the festival grounds into a sea of mud. 9 Inch Nails, Metallica, Aerosmith, Bob Dylan, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Peter Gabriel, and Green Day are among the many performers.
Shit didn't go bad in this one, right, Steve? They kept it kosher, other than the dirtiness. This is disgusting. Yeah. This is my nightmare behind you. If I was there, I'd be like, no, I'm leaving.
Well, there was one fatality. He was a diabetic, they say. At least one confirmed fatality. He was a diabetic, and I don't, maybe he was a diabetic attack or something. but it wasn't as bad as 99. And I remember when we covered 99, you mentioned the mud. 99, there was really no rain. It was just hot as fuck. But this is definitely the one with the mud.
Oh.
And I watched some of the performances, man, and I feel like the ones that stole the show, obviously Green Day, they brought the fucking house down. And 9 Inch Nails, who's seen behind me. And did you know Trent Reznor has Ohio background?
No, I did not.
He's initially from Pennsylvania, born and raised, but then when he started bands, he was in Cleveland.
Well, shout out to Trent Reznor, who, you know, I was never the huge 9 Inch Nails guy.
Me either.
I was intrigued, but he is like actually like a movie. He scores movies and shit now. He's a very successful movie scorer or whatever you want to call that shit.
Kind of like what the RZA has done.
Yeah, very much so. He's had some like really success. Like he's been like very some of the movies he's done. His shit stood out and made the movie much better. I'm like spacing on what he's done, but cool, man. But, you know, but like Woodstock again. You would have gone to this?
No, I wouldn't have, man. I wouldn't. I don't do dirt. I don't understand why people do.
Dude,
like,
what I'm seeing behind you, I'd be like, no. Like I would leave as soon as if it rained, I'm out.
Yeah. Like we got to be here for 2 more days. Like I'm not going to be just sitting here stanky nuts and like covered in mud. No, I don't do dirt, and I don't do mud or musty. I don't do stank.
Dude, I've been on mad drugs, Steve. I've been in the midst of trips, mind-altering substances. And if I ever even once had even a body part smeared with mud, I would instantly wash it off. There's no way I would be on enough drugs to be like that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, go take a shower, Green Day.
Dude, they were egging him on. And, you know, halfway through, like, he's like, hey, start throwing. And then, like, Billy Joe Armstrong puts the guitar down. And then, like, while Mike Dirnt and Trey Cool are playing their instruments, he's just, like, roaming the stage. And, like, they're pelting him with mud, man. And he's throwing it back. But, like, entertainment-wise, I would prefer watching the 99 because it had some of my more favorite acts. And I like Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, but Chili Peppers was in 99, and it didn't have as much that I would listen to today from 94 because they tried to make that connection from 69. So there were a lot of, like, you know, older, there was Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Davis.
I saw something on the list about where like the people that played, I was like, why is that on there? This is ridiculous.
Because that was the tie-in.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
And
they how much hepatitis went out after this one, Steve? All that,
and
dude.
They did have Cypress Hill too, man. Which was pretty cool. And in this one in 94, yeah.
That's
but on day one, a group named Jackal took the stage early on Friday, and lead singer Jesse James Dupree took the stage with a bottle of whiskey and poured alcohol onto the crowd. And then he started smoking marijuana, and on a close-up, he shotgunned the joint into the crowd with copious amounts of smoke, filling the screens and the stage, at which point the crowd cheered. Then the lead singer lit a stool on fire on stage and cut it up with a chainsaw. He also pulled out a rifle and started firing into the air, but cut his hand and started to bleed. And as he wiped his forehead, a streak of blood was left across his head. At this point, security dragged him off stage. And this is day damn one. Day damn one, Vivian.
Why?
Day damn one.
What? I don't remember that. I don't remember news of Jackal pulling some shit like that.
Hi, I'm Jesse James Dupree, and this is Jackal.
It does seem like some jackass shit. He did everything he could to get arrested, then finally, I guess, was arrested. So,
Johnny Knoxville, that was his former alias. We're on you.
This is Johnny Knoxville, and I'm about to go chainsaw a stool on stage at Woodstock.
But it was day two when Blind Melon performed, and frontman Shannon Hoon took the stage in his girlfriend's dress and appeared to be tripping on acid during the band's performance and the post-show interview with MTV.
So, how are you feeling after that performance? It was magical. I'm peeking star. You're just like up in the camera, like,
Yeah.
that'd be wild, dude. That's the ultimate psychedelically. If you can pull that off, to be able to see like whatever that's like has got to be the pinnacle of that, you know.
And I forgot to mention Primus, man. They've had a kick-ass performance, and Les Claypool, the way he plays the bass, he slaps that motherfucker, and he's really quick with his fingers, man. He's like slapping it and like picking it at the same time. And he's interacting with them. He's like, I know a lot of y'all are complaining about the prices that you got in here to get in here, but you would play twice as much to get in a Barbra Streisand concert and would have less fun. It's like, damn, burn.
Well, I mean, would I go? No, but clearly there was a lot of fun to be had here. Some of these people look like they're having a great time. Did they get really sick from all the dirt and shit they ingested? Probably, but fuck it. You know, we all got to take a day off every once in a while.
And get this, the bassist, Mike Dirnt from Green Day, he was mistaken for one of the fans towards the end of their set. Because a lot of people were starting to jump on stage at the end of their set. Billy Joe Armstrong was just like riling up everybody. And he was spear tackled. The bassist got spear tackled because everybody was starting to look alike. The bassist had on a white shirt. And at this point, like he's covered in mud. It's like a white shirt and mud. So like he looked, and it's not like they have like a big stature. They're built like normal guys who just happen to be dope guitar or musicians. So like the security mistake him for one of the like dudes and just spear tackled the motherfucker. And he ended up having to get emergency orthodontia. And a gag order was put in place regarding this incident. And now, due to the now famous mud fight and Dirnt's injury, Woodstock quickly propelled Green Day's then recently album Dookie into success. And you talking about another 90s staple. The people who barely listen to rock, that little bit of rock that you had in your collection, you would see Dookie.
I definitely had Dookie, dude. Yeah, I had that shit in the Discman playing at least for a solid 6 months straight, because that was one of the first CDs I bought.
And Green Day kind of brought punk to the mainstream, and people can disagree that, man, they're not really punk because punk is like they were punk in comparison to the grunge movement that was going on. They had a different style, and people could relate to it. You could grab onto it. They had catchy hooks. The riffs were pretty cool, man. I'm having trouble getting sleep. Dun, 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 dun.
But I mean, this one specifically, they had other good albums, but this one just was, I feel like this was one of those albums you could play from start to finish, if I remember correctly. I haven't listened to it in decades.
No doubt.
But
Alice in Chains was invited to perform, but they pulled out because of continuing drug problems with Lane Staley, the lead singer, R.I.P.
That's one of my that's probably my favorite grunge band, or maybe rock band. Dude, I used to love Alice in Chains, dude. Them Bones. I don't know why. I just used to listen to that song over and over. Wasn't that that was the one with like the three-legged dog on the cover, that album?
No, that's the three-legged dog is the one with Man in the Box. The one you're talking about is Dirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what, they're all bangers, but
hell yeah.
Man, dude, that dude, you're such a fucking party animal. You're too much of a druggie to be a rock star. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously it killed his ass, but fuck, dude, that's crazy. There's people like that are that good, because he just had such a singular voice. Like his voice was so unique. And I think they're actually touring, like, and playing again. Like, I wonder how they replicate that sound. Does the guy sound like it?
Yeah, he does, man. I saw him in 2018, man, when they played in Houston. And the guy that they have now, he's actually a mixed guy. He's black. He's a black-white guy. And he's not Lane Staley, but he does it justice, man. Because like you said, that's a unique voice that, I mean, you can't capture lightning in a bottle. He worked for that gritty background that was Jerry Cantrell. And still, a lot of people don't realize Jerry Cantrell is really the brainchild of Alice in Chains. Like Lane Staley is the front man, but as long as Jerry Cantrell is still alive, Alice in Chains is going to continue, man.
Yeah,
as they should.
Yeah. Hell yeah. They were one of those, like, it was them. To me, Soundgarden was there for sure.
Yeah. R.I.P. Cornell.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking nuts, man. All these bands, it's just like, those dudes just are gone. It's wild.
But what did Bill Hicks say, bro?
Tell me.
A lot of your favorite artists, a lot of your favorite musicians, real fucking high on drugs.
And a fucking shout out, R.I.P. to fucking Bill Hicks. There's another legend of the fucking 90s.
Who I believe died in 94, or was it 93 or 94? Yeah, man. But on that same day when Woodstock was creeping on, Fox broadcast its first National Football League broadcast with Pat Summerall and John Madden. A preseason game in San Francisco between the 49ers and the Denver Broncos.
Damn, the first one ever. Did they have the iconic music?
I believe so, man. That was the inaugural, and it's been the staple, just like ESPN's.
That's, man, that was a team right there. Broadcast team, Summerall and fucking Madden. That's one of that might be the top one of all time. But
in sports or wrestling, all of the above.
I'm just saying football, not wrestling. I'm not going to include wrestling in that.
That's Summerall here with John Madden.
Plus the video games. I used to hate fucking Pat Summerall. When you're losing a game and Summerall's all over you like that, you're like, shut the fuck up, Pat.
You don't know me, Pat.
And Michael Vick got another 50-yard run on the Steelers. Mike Vick, incredible. Shut the fuck up, Pat.
Neil O'Donnell throws another pick again.
That's 5 on the day, John. What you don't want to do is throw a pick.
Boom. But yeah, man. In 1997, on August 12th, the Backstreet Boys released Backstreet Boys.
Hey, I mean, I'm not gonna shit talk him because my wife might listen to this and she loves the Backstreet Boys. So, hey. They're the best. They probably are the best boy band, but there's one guy in here because I've had to go see these guys, Steve. I've seen the Backstreet Boys live in Vegas. But
I bet they put on a good show though.
I mean, I'm not gonna, it's, it was a show. I was high. Legal weed. There's weed legal in Nevada. Let's just say that.
That makes everything tolerable.
Oh man, I was more enjoying the guy behind me who kept complaining because they show like a video that's just like, they just show a video and it's just like a hype video. And this guy behind us was like, fucking paid $150 for these tickets to watch a video I could watch on YouTube. He was just being like loudly shitty, and his wife's like, I just love them so much. He's just like,
was he a Guido?
I mean, I don't remember. He was either a Guido or like just like Midwest trash, one of those. He just had, but he definitely was a fat and had a tank top on, and titties. But there's a guy named Howie in the Backstreet Boys.
Hungry Howie's, yeah. He looks like Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's the most despicable human being of all time, I think. I think this guy's secretly like a monster, and he has no talent, and I think he just does. He's like the guy who gets them drugs, I think.
Oh, really? Because he looks like X-Pac off drugs. He looked like X-Pac if he got his hair cut on a regular basis. He had a dance routine.
Do you think you would know X-Pac if he got a hair? Like if he just was clean shaven and got a haircut like me, do you think you'd know him?
Fuck no. He's always been known as having hair. When he was 1, 2, 3 kid, he had the cocaine mullet. When he was X-Pac.
Oh, dude. What? Did he get a hair transplant from Scott Hall, dude?
Man, hey. If he's your buddy, if he's your friend, and if he's like that cool, like why not? If it's there on a table, yeah, I would like to have Scott Hall's tresses as my hair, even though it wouldn't look right.
Remember that guy in Martin that had the shag, like the barber?
The barber, yeah.
I think you could just rock the shag, Steve. Let's get you some Razor Ramon hair. You can start rocking that, dude. You would look sick with some Razor Ramon hair.
Yeah, it's like Solomon.
I'm high,
The strength
Steve.
is in.
We're going down a weird path now. I've gotten so high. I'm talking about you having fucking Rick James hair. So,
man, I'm one of the best singing motherfuckers. One of the prettiest motherfuckers. Dude, they're having a documentary on him, man, on Showtime. I believe early in September. So yeah, dude, that's gonna be great.
Is it like it's like a biopic?
It's a documentary.
Oh, it's a documentary. Oh, yeah, dude. Do they have footage?
Oh yes, dude.
No.
Dude, the trailer is online, bro, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be watched, bro."
Yeah, I'm watching that, dude.
It's through Showtime, and I don't think it'll be available on any of the stuff I have, but like I got the sneaky links, bro. But
dude, man, fuck all this shit. I'm sick of this. Oh, yeah. You didn't want cable? Well, now I got to pay for every fucking channel, and it's pissing me off, Steve, because I used to love watching Food Network shows, and I bought Hulu, and I bought other streaming services that we talk about. And then the shit you start watching and loving gets pulled off that and put on another stream, and then you got to buy that one.
Yeah.
I'm up to here with streaming services, Steve.
I'm at my max right now, and like I had my Disney Plus run out, and it's like, dude, okay, I'm cool with what I got. So anything Disney, I just go to my sneaky link. If it's not through Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max, go to my sneaky link until I get more funds. So you hear that, people? Like, share, and subscribe. Before I forget, I want to bring up the interview that we did with CTS Interview Room. Shout out to Jacqueline Phillips, man, Joey Lozada. Great interview. And we talked about 99 for the Spurs. And he mentioned Avery Johnson hitting the game-winning three-pointer. And I tried to correct him, and I mentioned Sean Elliott. I thought that he mentioned the game winner when Sean Elliott just barely missed out of bounds and hit a three-pointer. But it was the same year that Avery Johnson actually hit the three-pointer in the championship game. And you're right. And I wanted to say that on air. I like to get my facts right. So yeah, dude, Joseph Lozada, man, and we got to do that again. Some of the funniest shit. I cannot stop saying, I want to fuck, kill, marry Joey. What is it? I want to fuck, marry, kill Uncle Jesse. That's some of the funniest shit.
We're going to be saying that for the rest of our lives. So
oh my God,
Joey, I appreciate that.
Man, that you gave us that gem. But dude, I already know what's going on Crushgasm this week, but I'm gonna let you tell it.
This week I actually have a note from Kendra about this. I have to say specifically that the Crushgasm episode will, and I'm speaking in the future tense, Steve. So this is when this episode's out. The Crushgasm episode up now is talking about a hip hop crush. Lauryn Hill, more specifically, Lauryn Hill in Sister Act 2. So I don't remember the person's name specifically. I think his name's Rodney something. But it's going to be a banger, just like all Crushgasm episodes. Watch it, like it, share it, subscribe to it. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, remember I was talking about that bringing it way back. Skeet Ulrich and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
The movie. It's called Chill Factor, and it came out in 1999.
Chill Factor. Okay.
Yep.
I won't be watching it.
And it yeah, you could probably miss this one. You know, this was definitely like there was the B grade movie, like a spacing on the movie now. Ryan Phillippe, what's that? Shut that cunt's mouth before folks start ahead. Him and Benicio del Toro. Fuck.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, like, there's that level of movie where it's like not necessarily a movie you'd see in a theater. It's like a rental. And then there's Chill Factor, which was like a movie even less than that. So I'm just saying, don't watch Chill Factor. I just,
yeah. Omar's my favorite brother anyway. Like, it's Cuba Gooding Jr. Like, okay, you were in Boys in the Hood, but like other people were in that, and it's directed by John Singleton, one of the best directors of the 90s, in my opinion. But like if
Rest in peace,
if it's
John
being,
Singleton. I can't believe I'm saying that. That's wild.
it is, man. He's actually younger than my parents. But yeah, R.I.P. just John Singleton, man. And dude, I thought like it's a good thing that you read that note because I'm thinking of the previous episode with Larissa Birdseye, and I listened to the episode. I looked at her pictures. I came and I come to the conclusion that like, hey, man, I have a great script that I want to shoot, and she should hear me out on this. It's starring Larissa Birdseye and Steve G, yours truly, and the working title is Larissa's Birdseye, pink eye on a black guy, and I could see the potential. I could see the potential networks like I don't know, ABC, CBS, PBS, maybe TLC,
Spice Channel, maybe
Spice Channel, Boys and Men, ABC, DVD, or Fox, because they'll buy every fucking
I gotta
thing.
say, I have to do the editing on the posters, and to do that, we're given photos from. You saw the photos, and we put them in, in the way we do them. But quite honestly, when I was editing those photos, they're big professional photos. And when I put them in this area zoomed in, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. And it kept happening. So, Steve, we have connections to Larissa, and, we might be able to get a script over to her. So we can maybe make this happen. And I think it's getting a lot of views because of that. But she's also she's beautiful, very successful singer as well.
Yeah, I listen to acoustic music and eat ass, and also it'll be like a reality show meets game show, and I picture the live audience just for 30 minutes. That's all we need.
Live audience.
Yeah, man.
Dude, what kind of freak shit is this?
Man, we're both performers. We're used to performing in front of crowds. So this is the ultimate test. I'm just saying it's all.
I want to see this happen for you, at least for you. Maybe I don't want to see it, but I just want you to have it happen. So I'm in. I'm a producer.
It's a novel idea.
I like it. I'm in.
HBO. Yeah. Showtime, Cinemax.
Cinemax for sure. You know what I'm talking about.
Can't you see it, man? All the boys and girls wearing fuck shirts, all related to Larissa Birdseye, pink eye on a black guy.
Oh my god!
Fuck. Yeah, and it's every you can have different scenes. The tempo could be different, but yeah, man.
I mean,
and over the culture, we're going to be talking about Dream Team. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Dream Team and Watch the Throne. All things that happen on August 8th.
That's fucking dope, Steve. I don't have any, my only aside was the chill factor thing. And then once you got into the whole bird's eye on the black guy, which again, that's trademarked. Nobody can steal that, and TBD on the network, but that's definitely going to happen. So I'm in.
You hear that, sponsors? You hear that, networks?
You hear that, Brazers? If nothing else, this is perfect for you guys.
Man,
I'm a great producer, Steve. I'll make this happen. You're gonna get a call, man. So just be ready. When I say be ready, it's like Colonel and Dirk Diggler. Be ready.
Most definitely, man. So please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Don't just leave us hanging, man. Tell us how we doing. And, on Apple Podcasts, give us one of those comments. Say something like, hey, we're cute and you like Matt's mustache. Little stuff like that.
Definitely say that for sure.
Because I want to fuck, marry, kill Uncle Jessa. This is Happened in the 90s with Steve G and Matt G.